As evening settles over the forest, a remarkable parrot begins to move through the undergrowth. Unlike most parrots, the Kakapo does not take to the air, but travels patiently on foot. Built for a life in shadow, it moves with quiet assurance among roots, ferns, and fallen leaves. Tonight, his search is for plant food, leaves, shoots, and the rich seasonal growth of the forest. Using beak and feet together, the Kakapo handles its food with slow, deliberate precision.
Even here, every movement is measured as though the forest itself is setting the pace.
Though flightless, the Kakapo is still a skilled climber, hauling its heavy body upward through the trees. Here, strength and patience matter more than speed. When the forest offers abundant food, it can also signal the beginning of a breeding season.
For a Kākāpō, the rhythms of food and season quietly shape what comes next.
Such abundance does more than satisfy hunger. In certain years, it can help set an entire breeding season in motion.
For now, she simply feeds and moves on, following the familiar pathways of the forest.
As the season changes, the male begins returning to a place used for a very different purpose.
Here, generations of instinct guide him toward a small arena, hidden almost completely beneath the trees.
The shallow bowl is not a nest. It is part of a display ground, carefully maintained by the male. Narrow tracks lead away from the bowl, forming a small network through which he will move and call. As darkness deepens, preparation gives way to stillness.
Then comes the sound that defines the season, a deep boom, low enough to seem to rise from the forest floor itself. He may repeat these calls again and again, sending their low vibrations far beyond the small clearing. Between the booms, a sharper ching can help reveal exactly where the caller waits in the darkness.
Night after night, the male returns to this same small stage, repeating a call designed to travel through darkness. Between calls, he moves along the narrow tracks surrounding the bowl, maintaining the little arena beneath his feet.
The routine is simple, but repeated with remarkable persistence. Walk, settle, listen, and call again.
Each boom is low, resonant, and built to carry far beyond the bird that produced it. The sharper ching adds direction to the deeper boom, another clue for a listener somewhere among the trees. From only a few meters away, the bird seems quiet. Farther out, the forest becomes part of the instrument. Even during the display, there are long pauses, moments when the bird simply listens to the forest around him. The performance can continue for hours, repeated through the night, with little more than darkness for an audience.
Eventually, even this persistent caller must pause, moving quietly through the small paths he has worn into the ground.
Somewhere beyond the clearing, that fading call may already have reached another Kakapo listening in the dark. Elsewhere in the forest, a female pauses as a distant boom reaches her through the darkness.
The sound is faint, but low frequencies can travel farther than the bird that produced them can be seen.
She leaves the feeding patch and begins to move, guided not by sight alone, but by sound.
The route is uneven and slow, but the call gives her a direction through the dense undergrowth.
The deeper boom draws her closer, while the sharper ching offers a more precise clue to where he waits. At last, the small display ground begins to emerge between the trunks ahead. For the first time, caller and listener occupy the same small patch of forest. The encounter is brief and understated, shaped more by posture, sound, and proximity than spectacle. If she accepts the display, the meeting is short. Soon after, their paths separate again. The male's role ends at the lek. From here, the female will choose a sheltered place and continue alone.
Inside, she tests the shelter carefully, turning within the hollow and feeling the ground beneath her feet.
There is little construction here, only a shallow resting place shaped within the protection of roots and earth. After the first egg is laid, the quiet hollow becomes something more, a place she will guard almost entirely alone.
A second egg follows later, completing the small clutch she will now incubate beneath her body.
From this point on, warmth, patience, and repeated nights of waiting will define much of her life. Incubation is a long, quiet task, measured not in dramatic moments, but in countless small adjustments. Even the eggs are moved carefully, helping warmth reach them as evenly as possible. Rain may pass over the forest, but inside the hollow the routine changes very little. But incubation cannot continue without interruption. Hunger eventually draws her back into the night.
For a short while, the eggs are left behind as she slips into the forest to feed and restore her strength.
Before long, she returns, carrying nothing but the energy she has gathered from the forest outside.
After weeks of incubation, the first sign of change is almost imperceptible, a faint movement beneath the shell.
The first chick emerges small, weak, and almost helpless, dependent entirely on its mother's warmth.
Soon, the second chick follows, and the quiet hollow now holds two fragile lives beneath her. For now, their world is no larger than this dark hollow, the warmth above them, and the sound of their mother moving nearby.
Growth begins almost invisibly, in tiny breaths, small movements, and repeated cycles of warmth and rest.
As the chicks grow, their mother must divide her nights between keeping them warm and finding enough food to feed them.
There is no perfect rhythm. One chick begs, the other rests, and the pattern changes again a few moments later.
Outside, weather comes and goes. Inside, warmth and shelter remain the center of the chick's small world.
With each passing week, the chicks gain strength, their bodies filling out as the first true feathers begin to appear.
The nestlings are changing quickly now, replacing soft down with feathers that begin to resemble the adults around them. Curiosity draws them toward the entrance, but the world beyond the hollow is still unfamiliar. Then comes a small but important step, the first cautious movement beyond the shelter of the nest. Outside, balance must be learned one root and one uneven patch of ground at a time.
The young bird begins to learn which parts of the forest can become food simply by watching and experimenting nearby.
Skill comes slowly, through repeated attempts, small mistakes, and the patience to try again.
And as darkness returns, another Kākāpō disappears into the forest, still learning, still moving, and carrying the cycle forward.